Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All are present. Should we start? Today we will discuss and I will give you lecture on the development of international relations in the world, or historical developments of international relations in the world. The Western scholars described multifarious stages of international relations considering their affiliation and circumstances. Contrary to Western scholars, I, being a South Asian, present developments of IR in two stages. The first stage, before the World Wars 1 and 2, and the second stage that started after the end of World War II, after the end of World War II in 1945. The Western scholars have totally ignored the momentous historical developments and nationalist movements of the world that reshaped the contours of the world. These historical developments, keep writing. These historical developments and movements greatly contributed to the development of international relations in the world. Now I say in IAS. The success of historical movements for liberation from bondage of colonialism contributed to the development for the establishment of United Nations system in the world and new world, emerged a new world. These historical developments and movements also contributed to the development of IR in the world. The success of historical movements throughout the world for liberation from the bondage or salvation of colonialism, of British European colonialism, contributed to for the establishment of United Nations system, which is present today in the world, and a new world. Emerged the new world. More and more countries emerged. The victory of Allied powers with destruction in Europe and collapse of European colonialism, actually they were, no doubt they were victors, but actually they were defeated. These are, in my opinion, these are the defeated victors. Both victors and vanquished. One who gained the victory, and one who lost the war were both losers. The real multifaceted international relations developed, the international relations which is present today, really actually started or developed after the end of World War II. The new stage of the new era of the international relations developed after Second World War, or end of the Second World War. And establishment of UN and the demise of British Empire. Or we say that it was erected on the crumbled, destroyed, crumbled structure of Great Britain. As we know that Internet IR was the branch of political science, but for following the Treaty of Westphalia in 1648, it gradually acquired the status of an independent discipline, even surpassed the political science. The gradual development of international relations started its journey from Westphalia, Treaty of Westphalia, to UTRECHT, UTRECHT, to Vienna. Vienna Conference was held in 1815, and Vienna to Versailles. Versailles is a city in France where the Treaty of Versailles was concluded in 1919, and the Versailles to the end of Second World War. That after the end of Treaty of Second World War ended. Okay. The diverse many changes in European geopolitics, such as the Industrial Revolution, new philosophies of political thinkers, the dawn of the representative government or democratic government, inevitability of economic interdependence on each other, nationalism, which was spreading all around the world, liberalism and movement for liberty, and the fight to curb communism by capitalism with the help of Islam, and urge for universal institution as League of Nations was failed, supremacy of international law. These developments, are these demands, are these wishes, are these aspirations, and growing global, entire world's global public opinion for the amicable settlement of economic, political, and territorial disputes contributed to the development of IR. Now, development of IR before World Wars. What happened before the World War, both World Wars? One. Historically, IR existed with the commencement of state itself. In primitive times, the states were so large, big territories, so large that it could not even conduct its own internal affairs efficiently. That's why they deliberately, willingly ignored or gave less importance to relations outside their territory. IR actually started its gradual journey and got prominence from the Peace of Treaty of Westphalia on 24th October 1648, and now at present no any country can survive without pursuing and following its tenets in global system. IR developed in period from 1648 to Treaty of Utrecht, which was concluded in 1713, which was a period of colonial supremacy by the European countries. The second stage commenced from Treaty of Utrecht 1730 to Vienna Conference 1815. French Revolution under Napoleon Bonaparte also contributed to the development of IR. The related incidents, the simultaneous incidents like Crimean War 1854-56 and Franco-Prussian War 1870 to 71. Prussia means presently Germany, it was called previously called Prussia, became unified and powerful empire under Bismarck. Decline of Turkish power. Turkish power or Ottoman Empire in the Balkan, and rise of nationalism. The decline of Spain was a colonial power, but it declined gradually. It was defeated by many countries like USA and other. Triple Alliance 1822 and Triple Entente 1907. Growing animosity, hostility against Pax Britannica. Means that was the period of Britain supremacy. All other countries, white, are struggled against Britain. And emergence of USA as economic power also laid the foundation of Asia. Vienna Conference or Concert of Europe to Treaty of Versailles, which was concluded on 28th June 1990 after the end of World War I. The start and end of World War I and rise of communism posed direct threat to capitalist countries. Treaty of Versailles pushed the people to World War II because it was itself a cause of Second World War. Whenever states violates the settled tenets or canons of law, the result is obvious: destruction, annihilation, or war. The communist revolution in 1970 during the First World War shocked the philosophies in the world. Treaty of Versailles, which was concluded on 28 June 1990 to the establishment of the United Nations Organization in October 1945 after the end of Second World War. The Treaty of Versailles, signed by victors to destroy vanquished or losers, changed the scenario. The treaty gave rise to Nazism in Germany, and Hitler got prominence, and fascism in Italy. The treaty pushed the people to World War II. Development of IR after World War II. After the end of both World Wars, developments crumbled the very foundation of colonial powers. The communist, socialist, and liberalist philosophies was rapidly gaining ground in the world. Political movements for independence, because there was a political movement in South Asia, not only South Asia but entire world. Political movement for independence or liberation in South Asia, in Asia and Africa had weakened the foundation of British Empire, because British was occupier or colonial power. The people of South Asia, under the leadership of Gandhi and Quaid-e-Azam, valiantly waged struggle, or both parties, Congress and Muslim League, valiantly waged struggle for freedom from imperialism and foreign bondage. Consequently, resultantly, the two largest, means one Hindu and second Muslim country in South Asia emerged on the map of the world. Both got freedom. The power of center, first before the Second World War, the power was the Europe. Now, the power of center shifted to America, United States of America. Successful socialist revolutions led by Mao in China eroded the power of capitalism. The IR developed and consolidated means strengthened itself after the establishment of UNO in 1945. There, if you know, you should remember that there were only 51 states at the time of establishment UN, which are original states. But at present, there are more than 190 sovereign states of United System or global system. The international IR had come with flying colors, and the number of sovereign units or states increased from 51, that original countries, to presently 190. The United Nations was established to save the succeeding generation from the scourge of war and started the process of decolonization. International IR extended and get more and more extended, and it brought within its domain the functioning of international institutions, that is United Nations or other organizations, maintaining world peace and promoting socio-economic development. The development of IR has made the world one inhabitable global village, because before the Second World War, all were living in fear.